Hello everyone, I am Monir Alam. I am a photojournalist based in Dhaka, Bangladesh, and also teach photojournalism at Pathshala, South Asian Media Institute. I am your tutor for this online course of Pathshala and KAS, and today our class topic is photojournalism. Today, we have a special guest with us for our class. I would like to introduce you, Jimmy Domingo, who is visual journalist and a teacher. Jimmy is joining us from Manila, Philippines, and he will share his knowledge and experience with us. I am really excited to have Jimmy here with us. Hello, Jimmy. How are you?
Hello, Munir, and good evening to you and to everyone, and especially to your students.
Yeah,
I'm very glad to be part of this training program, and especially the module on photojournalism. And I am excited to share my experiences and also some pictures.
yeah. Thank you,
Right.
Jimmy. Now we are discussing our class topics. I just asking a few questions about in photojournalism. So I think you answer it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Our first question is, what does photojournalism mean to you? Or definition of photojournalism. Shortly describe its importance, its use in the media industry.
Okay. But let me share some pictures.
Okay.
Okay, there. So, at first, what you're seeing now is a picture that I took a long time ago when I started.
Okay.
That was in the late mid 1980s, 1985 to be exact. And at that time, that was the time when I started my photojournalism. So since then, since I started, what I know about photojournalism is very simple. It's just a person who embrace journalism. That means you need to know the rules of journalism, the tenets of journalism, and then you have the camera. So you tell the pictures,
Yeah.
you tell the stories, no, using pictures. And of course, when I started, um, I learned about getting information, interviewing people, and reading a lot. Because for me, and as we know it, photojournalism is not just pictures.
Okay.
It's about pictures, and the photographer or the photojournalist getting the information and writing the captions.
Yeah.
So, for example, in the picture that you are looking now, this is actually a picture of a New People's Army soldier. It's the Revolutionary Army in the Philippines, but without a caption. That is not photojournalism. It is just a beautiful picture. But for me, photojournalism is about pictures and writing the captions. So as you are looking the picture now, if I tell you that this is a picture of a revolutionary soldier, the New People's Army, you will get to know more about the story
Yeah.
and about the news. And also, if I tell you that this picture was taken long time ago in the 1980s, you will get to appreciate more about the picture. So, in other words, photojournalism is the picture and then the caption, which should include uh, the information about who is in the picture, what are they doing, where is the picture taken,
Yeah.
when was the picture taken, and why, why are they doing some rebellion, or why are they involved in revolutionary activities, and so on and so forth. For me, that is photojournalism.
Yeah,
Um, it is important to remember when you are a photojournalist that you are not just the owner of the image.
yeah,
Okay. You are the owner of the image because you are the photographer, but it is important to remember that uh, the editors, because we
yeah,
have editors, right? We work in newspapers and we work in publications, and the editors also own the pictures, and also the publishers also have a say in how the picture is being used. And also it is important to take into consideration our subjects, no? Our subjects must know that we are taking the picture and we are gathering information, because the picture and the information is going to be publicized.
yeah,
They have to know that. That's very important. And of course, we need to take into consideration our audience, our readers. So sometimes our audience um, tell us what they want to know, what they want to see. But in journalism, it is also important uh, for us to know what our audience should know. In other words, we determine uh, the important and relevant information that we need to give to our audience. Okay. And one thing more, it is important for a photojournalist or for photojournalism that you need to make your pictures interesting. You need to make your pictures artistic. You need to make your pictures technically excellent, because you have to catch the attention of the viewer in order for them to appreciate better the pictures.
okay.
Okay.
I think it means photojournalism is not only a photographer shoot a picture, it's a teamwork with news editor, publisher, the newspaper, others. So it is important.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
Yes,
only
that's right.
photography with pictures, it's together with a news editor, photo editor, and publishers. Importance. So, yeah,
Yes, that's right. Of course,
yeah,
there are photographers who are very much trusted by the editors and publishers. So sometimes they do not need to collaborate with the editors.
yeah.
They do their stories on their own, and making sure that uh, they do it uh, with full content and with full disclosure, and uh, they already know what the audience want to know, so they do the stories on their own.
Okay, thank you, JB. And my next
Mhm.
question is how photography works as a universal visual language. Most important is universal visual language. What is the importance of the universal visual language?
uh, we all know that we know about the saying. It says a photograph speaks 1,000 words, right? Okay, so a photograph is you do not need to hear, you do not need to read words to be able to understand pictures. Okay, so I think, and it has been proven that pictures are universal in a sense that uh, people viewing pictures can actually
Yeah,
interpret the pictures based on what they are seeing. So we all know that pictures imply, or pictures suggest visual content, and uh, the audience no infer, or they try to analyze the picture, and they try to understand the picture. So that's what makes photojournalism or photographs universal. They speak a language to anyone without the language of their own.
Yeah,
So, like
without
for
borders.
example, a picture is not Filipino. A picture is not English. A picture
Yeah,
is not German. A picture
yeah,
is not okay, the other languages. So, for example, in the screen that you are seeing now,
yeah,
I would like to believe that people who will see this without a caption, they will easily understand the picture that it is about dance.
yeah,
It's about dance because visually you can see it. It looks like they are dancing, right?
yeah,
And you can see that they have a costume. They have a costume. They're wearing something, and I would like to believe that those who are seeing this picture will interpret it as a picture of maybe a tribe or an indigenous
yeah,
people.
yeah, internet.
And also, if I may show another example, um, this one without a caption, okay, even without a caption, uh, people will understand that this picture is about violence
Yeah,
because you can see there's people covering themselves and they are it looks like they're running, and you see a photographer in the picture, so it looks like it's a big event being covered by photographers, and you can see images of uniformed police at the
yeah,
background, and you can see
background.
the
Yeah.
universal symbol of police like the truncheons and like that. Okay.
It's a
And
it's a political event.
uh,
We see the previous events. It's a political events in Filipino.
yes, this is a big event
Yeah,
because it's usually every July of every year.
yeah,
The president of the Philippines have something like a State of the Nation address. So he talks or she talks about uh, the programs, what is happening in the country,
yeah,
and usually uh, social activists usually they hold rallies, and because they also have agenda, and they want to tell the people what the real situation of the country is. So this picture is about that.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and this one, the other picture is this is an old picture I have taken, and I think that again, those who will look at this picture will interpret it as a kind of a ritual, and you see an old person, and you see a person with a costume, and I think viewers will already have an interpretation of the picture. So that's what makes pictures universal.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Now I am asking the third question: how picture and word works together. What do you understand by words for journalism?
Hmm. Okay.
Already mentioned it. Picture, we need a caption, but just explain the what's the words for journalism. Yeah,
Uh, yes, of course. As I've said earlier, uh, photojournalism is not just pictures, it is words. Okay. So, with a picture, the audience or the viewer can interpret, but photojournalism, as I've said earlier, is about pictures and words
yeah,
because our role is to inform the people, to inform, so we need to put captions. It cannot be just showing the pictures and let the people interpret, because our duty as journalists is to inform, to report. Okay, so for example, in the picture that you are looking at now, uh, you can see that it's a picture of a sunset.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
beautiful picture. There's a child like playing, but the importance of words in this picture is that we should tell the audience that, okay, this is a beautiful sunset and you see a sea, but actually the story here, which is not seen and which may not be interpreted,
Yeah.
is that the water where the child is playing is actually polluted.
Okay.
So that's the importance of words in photojournalism. That's the importance of captions. And if I may show another example, this one, for example, uh, of course, in this picture, you can see picture of garbage, right?
Yeah.
Garbage, and you see a cow there, cows there, and uh, people who look at this picture will ask, what are the cows doing there?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So our role as photojournalists is to provide the words because our duty again is to inform and to report what is going on. So, for example, in this picture, if we put words, the audience or the viewer will understand more about the photograph. That is the role of photojournalists. So, if I add here that actually this place, as you are looking at now in the screen,
Yeah.
is actually a huge building where they put all the garbage
Okay.
in that building. So it they call it the recycling,
Yeah.
recycling place for garbage.
Yeah.
And if you add more words to this picture, like uh, the cows here, they don't have grass to eat already because of the climate change.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There is no grass to eat. So the cows are, maybe by force of circumstances,
Yeah.
they are left to get some food in the garbage, something like that. So the importance of words will expand the meaning of the photograph, and that's what we want to do. That's our duty, that's our obligation, to explain what is not clear, and to mention in the caption what is not easily understood. So that's the role of words in photojournalism.
Okay. And now I'm asking a very basic questions for our student to understand what is news and what do you understand by the term of fourth state?
Uh, Fourth state refers to the press
Okay.
or to the media.
Yeah.
That's the basic information that we know about fourth state. And the reason why we call it fourth state, as far as I understand it, is that media should be independent.
Yeah.
The press is not part of the executive department of the government, of the legislative department, or of the government operations, and it should be independent from other organizations such as the corporate interests, like that. Media, for it to function very well in a democracy, should be independent.
Yeah.
And we are called the fourth estate. That's why we are not part of them. They call us the fourth state. And if I may add, that's the reason why we always uphold press freedom. We always uphold the independence of the press, and we always make sure that we report the news independently, without restrictions, without fear, and so that we can function as a true part of the democratic process.
Okay. Please
Ay,
explain what is the
bumalik na.
news?
Kung
News.
nagre-record.
Very basic question. What is the news?
What is news, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Very simple question as a student to ask them a very simple question. What is news?
Okay. What is news?
Yeah.
Okay.
Simple.
Uh, News is actually sometimes we say that news is something that uh, the rulers do not want to know, right? There's a definition like that. But actually, news is okay from the academic standpoint. News is, for example, what are the things that is important to the community? What are the things that are important in a society? What are the things that people need to know about important events, like, for example, elections? Okay, who are the candidates?
Yeah,
What are their platforms? In other words, news is uh, things that are important to the people, important in a society. So our role as journalists is to look for these things. As I have said earlier, uh, it's not just about the things that people want to know, but it's about our role as the fourth state, our role to tell the people what they need to know. I
yeah,
think for me, in my practice, uh, I always look for stories that I always look for pictures that wherein the goal is these are the things that people need to know
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for me. Okay. There's more weight to that. Okay. So
Okay.
for example, in this picture, what you're looking in this picture is this is just a simple picture of a fisherman, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So is this news? It's just a
yeah,
portrait, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Portrayal, holding
But
a fish.
yeah, holding a fish, right? It's an eel. But um, if I tell you that this fisherman used to use dynamite, that's why his left hand is
Yeah,
cut.
yeah,
Yeah. And the news here is that he already joined an organization trying to protect the the ocean, the sea,
yeah,
and the fishing environment.
yeah,
So I believe that this is a feature photo, but I want to communicate to the audience the news that fishermen in the Philippines, they already joined groups and they are doing something to protect the environment. That is the story that I want to communicate. And for me, that is news, right? That is something new because uh, that is to counter the idea that people still believe that dynamite fishing is there, but actually it's changing. Okay.
okay.
And if I am going to show another example,
Yeah,
okay, for example, this picture, it's not just
landscapes.
uh, yeah, it's not just a landscape picture, a beautiful picture of a sunset, but it's actually the story here. The news here is that uh, non-governmental organizations and the government, they are already doing something to promote the use of clean energy.
Okay,
So this is about building windmills to generate electricity. And so this is a picture about climate change, and I believe that uh, uh, the news here the news here is that there is there is this problem about climate change, about dirty energy, but people and the government and corporations, they are already doing something.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah, yeah. And now the question is, what is the important goal of a photojournalist? Why photojournalists need to be a technically sound along with camera operation? As a photojournalist, why is important? What is the important goal of the photojournalist? And what about the technically sound, the camera operation?
You mean the why do they
Goal
what
of the
why do they need to be technically efficient in using the camera?
and the goal of the photojournalist. What is the important
Okay.
goal? Yeah,
Okay, as I said earlier, the goal of the photojournalist is to produce pictures and gather information to uh, to better inform. the public and to report what is happening in the society. So that is news. And the third dimension here, which I want to emphasize, is photojournalists or photographers who want to report using pictures. They need to be efficient with their cameras. Okay, why? Because the picture is the hook of the news. Otherwise, you just write.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is where the importance of technical efficiency in using the cameras. Okay, uh, so with the cameras, uh, we need to be excellent in photography skills. Okay, because our goal is also to carry the scene, to be able to show, okay, to
Yeah.
be able to show what needs to be highlighted in pictures and in the news. So technical efficiency is very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for example, in this picture that you are looking at now, um, actually this is very difficult to shoot
Yeah.
because, as you can see, I was riding on a boat and
Okay.
we were far.
Yeah.
So here, your photography skills is important because the boat is
Maybe.
shaking,
Yeah.
okay? And you see the light situation here. You
Yeah.
need to properly adjust your camera to be able to highlight what is important in the picture. And this is another picture. Um, you want to highlight you want to highlight what is happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to highlight what is happening, and you need a photojournalist. As a photojournalist, you need to use the proper lenses.
Yeah.
Okay, to be able to highlight the face, the emotion, the expression. I use a long lens to be able to emphasize
Yeah.
the emotion of this farmer, because the story here is they were victims of a big typhoon. You know, the typhoon
Yeah.
Haiyan,
Yeah. The cyclone.
and yeah, it's a cyclone.
Yeah.
So after a few months, they were able to plant vegetables, and finally they started to recover the livelihood that they have lost. So
Yeah.
here I want to emphasize the face, no, the face and the activity. So I think I would like to believe that this is a very simple example of how a photojournalist should be technically efficient with the use of cameras and equipment.
Yeah. 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 And another basic question is how to find news and feature photos as a photographer. How to find feature and news photo. Already we saw some example to see your pictures as a photographer to move around their area to find the pictures.
The
Just
pictures, yes, okay. When I started as a photojournalist, uh, what I've learned is, number one, you need to read the news. You need to read the newspapers.
yeah,
You need to now with the internet. You need to check the internet. What are the breaking news?
yeah,
And you need to watch TV as well.
yeah.
Okay. And you need to listen to the radio because usually the radio, they are faster in delivering the news. Okay. Um,
Also,
so
internet connection, mobile connectivity. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
these days with internet, you
yeah,
need to be connected online.
yeah,
You cannot be a successful photojournalist if you are not updated with what is happening, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So in other words, you need to read a lot, listen, watch the news in the TV, and uh, I always advise the young photojournalists to follow the Twitter account, Twitter account, the even the Instagram account, the Facebook account of the newsmakers, the leaders of the country,
Yeah.
and also when we say newsmakers, they also include the social movements,
Yeah.
because in our society, it's not just the government that is working, right? We have the social movements, we have other organizations, we have corporate, we have the private sector, no?
Yeah.
So you need to know what is happening, from all those sectors. Of
Yeah.
course, it's different if you are a photojournalist and you just want be to specialize on a particular topic.
Important questions for our students. How do you cover disaster news and sport news? What does aftermath news cover is important? Why picture is important, especially while covering international assignments? I mean, disaster news cover. How do you cover the disaster news?
So looking for news, right? Looking
Yeah,
for news. Okay. For example, a photojournalist, you also need to know and maybe make stories about the ordinary people,
yeah,
because they are also part of the society. And for example, in this picture that you are looking at now,
yeah,
uh, this is a picture of a tobacco farmer.
yeah.
Okay, and the tobacco industry is very important because people depend on the tobacco industry for their livelihood, right?
Okay.
But we all know that all over the world, we have the tobacco control.
Yeah,
So what I actually want to point out here, Munir, is
yeah, yeah.
the conflict, and photojournalists needs to know the conflicts in society
Of course,
and
important.
how the conflicts are being resolved,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay. So, for example, here, it's a very simple picture, but it's a portrait. No, I have two here, but
yeah,
there's a big conflict actually in this about the tobacco industry.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's very important. It's very important for photojournalists to read a lot,
yeah.
but and also to understand the various forces in a society, to
Right.
understand conflict, because conflict may be the source of news.
Okay.
Conflict may be the source of good pictures, right? Mhm.
What is this conflict? Conflict to understand what's the going on. Yeah.
Yes, what's going on, who is pro, who is against, right? And so that you will know what pictures to take.
Okay. And then
Okay.
my another question is how do you cover disaster news or sport news? And what does aftermath news cover is important? And another and also the important and why picture is important, especially while covering international assignments. It's a question basically.
Okay. International assignments first. Okay.
Okay.
Um, I have worked with international news organizations, agencies here in the Philippines, like the Wire Photo Agency, like the Agence France Press, the European Press Photo Agency, and I also contributed pictures to the Associated Press.
Okay.
So um, if if a photojournalist wants to take pictures for the international audience, okay, you need to know who your audience is, because uh, an event in your community may not be useful for the other countries, for the other audience, right? For the international community. So, for example, here in the picture that you are looking at the screen,
Yeah.
it's a colorful picture, right? It's a picture of the festival.
Festival. Yeah.
Yes, but actually, this picture is about a Catholic activity.
Okay.
It's a picture about Christian belief.
Yeah.
So
Christian
for
Unity
me,
Valley.
yes,
Yeah.
for me, this picture is important to the Catholics all over the world, right? Okay. And okay, so
Yeah.
this picture is a very simple picture. It's a picture of a young man
Yeah.
in a river, in a small river.
Yeah. It's a
So
Canada.
yeah,
Yeah.
uh, so this picture is important to the community, but for the international audience, the story here is about the waters being polluted, and that's an issue all over the world.
Yeah,
So
pollution,
for
water
me,
pollution is an important issue. Yeah, all over the
yes,
world.
we know the water problem, right? For example, in Bangladesh,
Yeah,
I know that you have problem with potable water supply, right?
yeah,
And in many other countries, no, we have problems with where to get the water to drink, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Drinking water is very big crisis in all over the world. Yeah,
Water crisis all over the world. So uh, these are we need to understand uh, how the pictures will play in the international community or in the international market. So again, this picture, as you are looking at the screen, this may not be important to the international community,
yeah,
for international photojournalism, because it's a very local picture.
yeah,
It's a picture inside a university. But if I tell you that that what you are seeing now
yeah,
is actually a part of the university without students because of
yeah.
the COVID-19,
COVID-19. Yeah,
because of the COVID-19, right? So the picture may have an international dimension.
yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but it's a local picture, but the reason is international because of the lockdown situation. There is no people empty in the campus area, so that's why it is important. So as a journalist, to importance to know uh, what is the importance of news value and coverage and difference between national and international news. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Later, I'm going to show examples of disaster coverage. I have it here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Then at that time, I'm also the basic questions for you. What are the three basic short plan for covering a news? Just three basic shorts for the news coverage. What is the
What's the
important?
question? Three basic
Three basic short. What is the importance the coverage? Three basic shots.
three uh, basic shooting strategy. You mean the plan when you cover a news, right?
Yeah, yeah. When as a journalist and covered any assignments, so we need to know a different angle of shot, like close-up shot, long shot, wide shot. Just three basic shot: medium shot, close-up shot, and long shot. Just you describe it. Uh,
Yes.
Importance as a three basic shot. Yeah, because we
Uh,
are working in the newspaper, so we don't know actually what kinds of picture published.
that's
So
right. Yeah.
we published a medium shot or long wide shot or very close up shot. That's
Yeah.
why. Yeah,
That's very important because that is what I call the photography style.
yeah,
Ah. So uh, when I started my photojournalism, I was always reminded to take the wide shot,
yeah,
the wide shot, the medium shot,
yeah.
and the
Close up.
close-up shot.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
So your equipment is very important. You should have a wide angle lens, you should have a telephoto lens, right?
right.
Right. So the wide shot will give a sense of place about what is happening,
Yeah,
and the medium shot maybe you can highlight the activities of people, or the interactions,
yeah.
and the tight shot, the close-up shot,
Close up
you
shot.
need to emphasize the detail,
Yeah,
or the detail of the emotion.
yes,
So, like for example, in this picture that you are looking at this in the screen now, uh, this is actually not a wide shot, but it's actually a medium
medium
shot.
shot. Yeah,
Okay. But I want to say that it's not just the framing that is important in
yeah,
pictures. It is also important to use the other functions of the camera.
yeah, right.
Like, so here now, the photography style is I use the slow shutter speed to be able to, capture a sense of movement.
Yeah,
So it's not just about wide shot and medium shot and tight shot. It's also about using the functionalities of the camera of the camera to be able to produce maybe a better, an interesting uh, expression
Yeah.
about the subject that you are taking, right? Hmm.
I think it's a motion picture, slow shutter, and also a little bit penning shot.
Yes, that's right. That's a panning shot.
Yeah,
Okay. So in this example, in what you're looking at now, it's a tight shot, right? It's
yeah.
a tight shot, but you see, it's a
It's a
tight shot.
close up shot, and I think background is out of focus. But your
Y-
maybe it's a fish or whatever it is.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, that's right. So
yeah,
it's not just about wide shot, it's not just about medium shot, and it's not just close-up shot. So
yeah,
this is a close-up shot, but what is important here is to be able to determine the point of focus.
yeah,
The point of focus. So here, the story here is actually about the small fish that died when they were transported.
yeah,
It's not about it, of course it's about the fisherman, right? It's about the person who is taking care of the fish pond, of
yeah,
growing the fish.
yeah,
But the story here is about the fish that died when they were transported, and this is the small fish are very expensive, right? No, so this is what we call the photography style.
yeah,
And here, this is a portrait, right?
yeah,
uh, Portraits in photojournalism is also very important. Okay, it's not just action, and it's not just a panning shot.
yeah,
Sometimes we need to do interesting portraits, but here the photography style is what we call the shallow depth of field.
yeah, yeah. Shallow depth of field.
Shallow depth of field, right? So you need to be, we were talking about the efficiency in handling the camera, right?
Yeah,
So we need to determine the point of focus and the point of interest.
yeah,
We need to highlight that, okay? Because as we have said earlier, photojournalism is highlighting what is important in a scene, right? So
yeah,
you should be able to use your camera to successfully highlight what is important.
yeah.
Right.
And this portrait is background is out of focus, so it is more important to emphasize the portrait. Its face and his eyes is more visible,
Yes.
more interesting.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
And
and
of course, Munir,
yeah,
we need to add that sometimes there are photographers who cannot produce pictures like this
yeah,
because they lack the proper equipment.
yeah,
They lack the proper equipment.
yeah,
So
equipment is
we,
also important. Yeah,
yeah, so we need to emphasize that in photojournalism, equipment is also important. Okay. This kind of picture uh, uh, is used internationally.
yeah,
Okay, many news organizations use this kind of photography style, to isolate the subject.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay. Now
Right on.
I'm discussing another questions. It's important because why plan A, B, and C is important while covering any photojournalism assignment. Why important is A, B, C? Because if my plan A is failed, then I use B. Just you explain.
Yes. I would like to emphasize that safety
Yeah,
is important in photojournalism because uh, we need to be physically there in the situation. Okay. So whatever issues or events that you are going to cover, you always think in your plan A, you always think about safety.
yeah,
Okay. You cannot negate that because you have to be safe. There is no story worth dying for, right? You
yeah,
need to be safe first. And in your planning, uh, safety and of course equipment and resources.
yeah,
Right. So that should be in your plan A. Okay.
Yeah.
Plan B is, for example, you don't have the proper equipment. What will you do?
Yeah.
Right? You may need to borrow depending on the assignment, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So plan B is, if you don't have the equipment, if you don't have the resources, okay, what are you going to do? But safety is or should always be in the plan, whether it's plan A, plan B, and plan
Yeah.
C. Okay. Uh, Plan C, in safety, you need to plan where you will run,
Yeah.
where you will position yourself,
Yeah.
and you always anticipate the worst,
Yeah.
especially in assignments that there is already visible danger.
Yeah.
No, if you are not sure, don't go near. Use long lenses,
Okay.
right? Okay. So for example, here in the COVID situation now,
Yeah.
we all know that it's very social distancing is very important.
Important. Yeah.
So your plan A should be, don't get near your subjects. Don't go inside close
Yeah.
spaces with so many people, right? So that
Good.
is safety. Plan B is, if you cannot go inside hospitals, what
Yeah.
are you going to shoot? Okay,
Yeah.
so you shoot outside, right? So that's
Yeah.
your plan B, right? And uh, plan C is, what can you actually take with the equipment that you have and with the resources that you have, right?
Yeah.
Uh, this is very important, right? Because some photojournalists I know, they are brave. They're brave, but they don't have the proper resources. They don't have the proper equipment. Like for example, in the COVID-19,
Yeah.
uh, many photographers they don't have the protective gear, and that's very
Physical.
dangerous because COVID, you don't see it, right?
Yeah.
Right. That's the reason why we have resources. We have a lot of resources available online,
Yeah.
telling us photojournalists how we should cover COVID-19 issues.
Yeah.
So you can read in the internet,
Yeah.
WordPress Photo. They already publish a list of resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
So from there, if you are a photojournalist, you can make your plan A, plan B, plan C
Yeah.
in consideration of the safety measures that you have to take.
Okay.
Okay.
And then now I'm asking a technical question about in Photoshop. As a photojournalist, to know the IPTC data. Why IPTC data is important?
Ah, I think IPTC is the International Press uh, something council, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's the meaning, right? IPTC. IPTC has something to do with metadata.
Metadata. Right.
Okay, metadata. So with digital technology, with digital technology, uh, cameras can record, okay, the date and time, which is very important in photojournalism.
Yeah.
But you need to set the date and time properly in your cameras, right? Okay, and also the lens that you use, the settings that you use. Okay, it's all recorded in the camera. But what is important in the metadata is actually uh, you can embed, you
Yeah.
can include in the picture file
Yeah.
information such as the caption,
Right. Right.
your name, the
Time.
copyright,
Right.
and yes, and that makes it easier for editors to work on the pictures.
Especially in the
Actually,
news agency photographer are put in the caption metadata, especially while,
yes,
yeah.
yes, and agencies, they use different softwares to do
Yes.
that. Like for example, some use the photo mechanic.
Yeah.
We have Lightroom, for example, and of course Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
We also have, for Canon users, you have the Canon image browser.
yeah,
and you have the Adobe Bridge, for
yeah,
example. So there are many softwares that we can use for us to easily incorporate the metadata in the pictures. Actually, now, the newer cameras, you can already put your name.
yeah,
You can include your name in the camera. You can also include the title of the event that you are
yeah,
covering,
yeah, yeah,
and of course the date. And so as you are shooting, the information is already there because
yeah,
sometimes we already know what we are covering, right? So, for example, you are covering a cyclone, right?
yeah,
So you already know the name of the cyclone, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you can actually put in your cameras already,
yeah.
right? You can put the information there. Therefore, you are already building the information that is included in the metadata.
Right, right.
This is important, Munir,
Yeah,
especially in uh, because of misinformation and disinformation. Without the metadata or the information embedded in the pictures,
yeah,
some pictures can be used um, improperly.
yeah,
They can be misused. But if the metadata is included, uh, we know that we are doing our best to uh, to provide the truthful information in a photograph. I
yeah.
think that's the importance of using and embedding metadata in pictures.
Okay.
Mhm.
And now I'm asking one question. So it's what about the video journalism? Nowadays, we see the photojournalists were taking some video clips to providing the news agency or the newspaper. Could you
Okay.
tell us about in video photojournalism is important?
Okay. You know what? Um, Before we have the video cameras, right?
Yeah,
And then we have the cameras, the still,
yeah,
and then uh, mobile phones and the digital cameras. They included video.
yeah,
So actually, uh, video journalism is now uh, it's the tool that is the video is the tool available for photojournalists.
yeah,
So as you can see in the picture here in my screen,
yeah,
look at them. Look at the people. They are taking videos of
yeah.
the performance.
In mobile phone, yeah,
Yeah, with mobile phone, right? So it is important for us journalists to also take videos
yeah,
because otherwise it will be the people taking over the sharing of information.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So that's the situation now, right? Um, and then uh, the audience of the audience or our audience, the readers, the
yeah,
viewers, it is now the technology is there already. So we are getting news from our mobile phones, and there are platforms for videos like YouTube, and right now you have the Kumu, and we have TikTok, and that's video, right? And I think that for us journalists to be able to provide the
yeah,
news to the people, to the public, we also need to use the technology that is there. So it's not just still pictures anymore. If the people want to see the news from videos, okay, we take video, right?
yeah,
Okay. But of course, Munir,
yeah,
there's an issue there, right? You know
yeah,
the issue about the economics
yeah,
because our job is to take pictures, right? Photojournalist is still. And
yeah,
it's difficult when you are taking pictures and then you suddenly stop because you need to take a video.
yeah. So it is
It's
difficult.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe you may sacrifice
yeah,
a very good picture, a
yeah,
still picture, but you may be able to take a very good video.
yeah,
But of course, you have the crossover, and the crossover is you take the video, and
yeah,
then if there is something important, you can do a screenshot.
yeah,
And it's happening now. The big organizations, the international organizations, they screen grab pictures because they see the power of still photography.
Photograph, yes. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a very
yes,
important point to take a screen graph. Yeah.
screen
And
grab.
yeah, now our last question is what is the importance of the social media and mainstream media to a media reader and viewer? The difference between social media and mainstream media. Yeah. Okay.
Uh, Mainstream, you mean the legacy media,
Yeah.
the big organizations, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What is happening now is that they are also using social media to promote their content,
Yeah.
right? But um, social media is democratized, meaning it can be used by citizen journalists, citizen photojournalists, and citizen video journalists. So I think they are both important, no? Social media and the traditional media.
Yeah.
But what is happening now? What is happening now is that the mainstream media, they are losing readership,
Yeah.
and newsrooms are closing because content is now provided by citizen photojournalists and citizen journalists.
Yeah.
You know, especially if uh, uh, the news event is in a faraway place, and the news organizations, the mainstream media, they do not have the resources to send photographers or reporters to that area. They rely on content that is generated by the people, the ordinary people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes, or most of the time, they see the video and the photo in social media. And then the editors, they contact the person who uploaded a photo or a video in social media, and then they use it. Right.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Now, thank you, Jimmy, for our good discussion today's
Mm.
classes. And I'm also thank you to Patshala and KAS for these classes. If you are asking a few things about in our online classes, please tell a few words to our students. Yeah.
Okay.
Then we can
Uh,
our class.
yes. To your students,
Yeah.
maybe I would just like to to close this conversation. Photojournalism is rapidly changing. It's rapidly changing. The image economy is changing. Uh, Newsrooms are closing. Uh, Not many news organizations have the resources to buy the pictures, and also because of the democratized, no, camera and the internet, no, people are now providing the news. No, they
Yeah.
are sharing information, and uh, I think there's a danger, no, for news organizations to close down.
Yeah.
And so, but we believe that the importance of newsrooms, with trained photojournalists is there. No, we should hold on to the principle that a news, a photograph, or a video, the in, the integrity is very important, and we need newsrooms to be able to make that possible.
Okay.
Okay. But of course, there are citizen photographers, citizen photojournalists, citizen journalists. What they are doing now is they attend workshops, they attend trainings
Yeah.
to be able to become effective journalists as well.
Okay.
So it's rapidly changing. Now it's TikTok and
And
there
other
are a
social
lot
media.
of
Yeah.
platforms, no, coming up, and people are exploring. So news organizations should also understand, photographers, videographers, we should all also understand where the people are getting their news.
Yeah.
Because what is the point if we are producing pictures, we are producing video because you want to share the news, but we don't have an audience, right?
Yeah.
What is the purpose? So we have to see, we have to understand where our audience are getting their news.
Okay. So
We
it
should
is
explore
very
that.
important to analyze it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you,
Okay. Yes.
Jimmy. See you again. If we need, then
Okay.
we will discuss another class, another session. It's important.
Yes. Okay.
And thanks again, and thanks again to KAS and Patshala and all. Okay, you take care of
Okay.
yourself and
Thank you
okay,
very much, Munir. And to the students, hello.
okay.
Stay safe.